said the Lions won a game.
And we are back. Great Lakes State Football, episode 27. Everything football in the state of Michigan. I'm Vince.
I am Corey, and I am hailing from Elmhurst, Illinois, the home of Charlie Krieger, L-Tech, and the Ron Kaftat Tyner.
And about 10 people know who you're talking about. References for a select group of people.
And I'm Brett, live from the bowels of my home in
The
Southeast
bowels,
Grand Rapids.
the bowels of your home. How's it smell down there?
Like wet dog.
What dog? Okay. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and get started here. A very interesting way to start the podcast. So we meant to have this episode come out a few days earlier, but we originally pushed it to Monday, and then we couldn't record last night because I lost power. I just got it back about 5 hours ago. So luckily, we're good to go now. What we would like to recap. Week one, Michigan high school football kicked off last week, and as well as a couple state of Michigan college teams. Unfortunately, the two college teams that played last week did not win, but we do have some fun Michigan high school games to talk about. Excuse me. And then we're going to preview week two for Michigan high school football. And we will kind of quickly go through the slate, the schedules of college football games for all the college teams, D3, NAI, D2, and FBS. And then we're going to talk about our top five. I think we got 5 or 6 games that we think you guys should watch or pay attention to from the college ranks as well. And then we'll wrap things up with Corey giving a fact and recommendation of the week. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in here with MHSAA. So last week we went through and picked all three of us. We had 5 games for Michigan high school football that we thought were the 5 big time games of the week. And I will share my screen here really quick for those of you who are creeps and who watch online on YouTube, who view the video episodes. You'll be able to see this. If you don't watch the video episodes, if you're just listening on Apple or Spotify, you can check on our Instagram or Twitter. These graphics we did share out on Instagram and Twitter. If I remember to, I will try to link the tweets for these images in the description of the video as well, or description of the episodes as well. So these are the 5 games we talked about last week. We talked about Davison versus Clarkston, which Davison ended up winning 28-21. Corey was the only one who picked Davison. So Corey got that one. Brett and I picked Clarkson, so we didn't get that one. Grand Rapids West Catholic versus Edwardsburg. Grand Rapids West Catholic ended up winning this game 28-20, which for a lot of people was considered an upset. Edwardsburg was heavily favored. If you pay attention to Goose Poop, who does all the Michigan high school football stuff through the numbers, he's been putting out a lot of great content this fall. Definitely check his pages out on Instagram and Twitter. Give him a follow. Check out his newsletter. His algorithm had a 70% chance of Edwardsburg winning that game. But Brett picked Grand Rapids West Catholic, so Brett got that one. All of us were unanimous in picking Lumen Christi over New Lothrop, and we were all wrong. New Lothrop proved us wrong, beat Lumen Christi 12-7. So a very close game. All 3 of those games I mentioned so far were 1-score games. So all really great football games. So none of us got that one. And then the 4th game we had for last week, big time game, Rochester Adams defending, or not defending state champs, but the D1 runner-up last year, played Orchard Lake St. Mary's, handled this. I think we were unanimous picking Rochester Adams, but I was kind of surprised by the score. Beat Orchard Lake 42-14. And then the last one that we were also unanimous on and were correct in our pick was Warren Michigan Collegiate, the D6 runner-up last year, beating Monroe St. Mary Catholic 28-3. So as it stands, Brett and Corey were 3-2 with their first week picks, and I am 2-3. So I am losing. So right now I have the Blazing Wings challenge. So we ended up, I don't know if we ever said this live on the air.
Talked about it.
I don't think we have talked about this. So last week, I think the last episode we talked about doing a tattoo for the loser. Brett did not get permission. Sent us a very funny video. If I'm technologically savvy, I should splice the video into this episode of Brett's wife telling him that he cannot get a tattoo. So we ended up deciding
stupid as shit.
And then she said Corey didn't have any tattoos, but Brett forgot that Corey has a big back tattoo, so that didn't work out. We decided that the loser is going to do the Blazing Wings Challenge live, do a live stream, or I don't know if we decide we record or do it live. It'd probably be more fun to do it live. I don't know.
They have to do the Blazing Wings Challenge, and then Brett added in that you have to also compliment the other two winners while you're doing the challenge.
After every win, you got to give each one of them a compliment.
What's likely going to happen is this is going to be me, because I feel like I'm not going to have as great a picks. But although this week, last week was tough though. Like you guys on two different ones went against the grain and just, made a good pick. I feel like I took the more likely team. It is what it is. Yeah. There's, are we going to do this through the state title too?
Absolutely.
It's going to go all the way through. Yeah. It's going to be hundreds of games. So this will add up, especially, are we doing it with the college games too?
Absolutely.
I think, right? All right, baby. Last
college
thing
games
here.
Don't count towards it though, right? I mean, we didn't talk.
I thought we were doing college and high school with our overall picks.
Top 5 games.
We can, but do the college games count towards the total?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For our picks, yeah, it's going to be big time. It's going to be like over 100 games by the time the season's over.
Yeah.
Last thing that we want to mention from last week is we're going to do our top team performances. Individual stats are so hard to keep track of in high school football and aren't always reliable. So we'll leave other people to do that. So we decided that we would just stick with doing the team stats. Most points scored in a single game, Rochester Hills, Stony Creek, 70 points.
My wife's alma mater.
That's pretty crazy. 77 touchdowns. There's a couple teams I think that scored 69 as well.
Points.
That is a lot of points. Most points scored in a game combined teams was it quadruple overtime? I think it was a 4 overtime game between Southfield and Kaz Tech. And Kaz
took 2 days.
Yeah, it took over 2 days. It got delayed just before halftime on Friday night because of fighting in the stands and smoking. There was like weed being smoked and there was just like apparently unruly fans or whatever. So it was at Lawrence Tech. They were playing this at Lawrence Tech. What's that?
You just sounded like you were a 75-year-old man. There was weed being smoked.
This is what I read on Twitter. Like they said, literally got delayed because there was too many people like smoking weed in the stands, and there was fights breaking out. I don't know. That's just what I saw on Twitter. I was trying to find some more information on what was going on, but it sounded like it was just unruly fans in the stands. So it got pushed to Saturday with no fans. Yeah, and Southfield ended up in quadruple overtime, winning 56-54. Man, what a classic that no one got to see. I don't know if there's a live stream that was done of it or not, but that's pretty crazy. So that was 110 total points. The largest win margin.
We saw a few highlights today.
Oh, you did see some clips from the game?
Oh, we got tagged on a few highlights.
Oh, okay. I haven't had a chance to check that out.
200.
What's that?
Nothing. Just continue.
Largest win margin was also by the most points scored by a team. I think they won 70-0. So the win margin was 70. Biggest upset. This one is probably a little bit more objective or subjective. Excuse me. I mean, we could have probably picked a few different games, but to us, the biggest upset in the state had to be the Lansing Waverly over Lansing Catholic. And we actually quote tweeted the D Zone on this because the D Zone posted their biggest upsets, and they agree with us that they made a mistake, that they should have also picked Waverly over Lansing Catholic as one of the biggest upsets from last week. They just kind of went under their radar. Lansing Waverly has had 6 winning seasons in 40 years, and they have 1 playoff win in that time, which was the 2020 season where everyone won the playoffs. And they just took down they were at the defending D6 state champs, Lansing Catholic. Big time upset. So good for them. Be interested to see with their new coach, what they do week by week there. And then our last one, lowest scoring game of the week last week, 6-point game. Was it 6-0, Brett? I don't see the final.
Yep.
6-0. Saginaw Arthur Hill over Romulus Summit Academy North. That's quite a mouthful. So.
Yeah, the Lansing Waverly and Lansing Catholic game, that's pretty big too, because those schools kind of Catholic, I'm sure, take some athletes from Waverly, being they're so close.
Right.
Very close.
Generally. But we tried to get Waverly coach on DeYaya Jones, and it was more of a no for us because he did not respond to us. So.
He did give us a foul, though.
He did give us a foul. Coach Jones did foul us.
Let's get you on. We want to hear how you upset the LCC Cougars.
Who do the Warriors play this week? Do you know?
I believe they play Eastern
I'm looking it up right now.
Don't quote me on that one.
Sexton, I think, actually.
They play. You're right, Corey. Lansing
Sexton.
Sexton.
Yeah, I do. You're right. Play Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting because Sexton just beat Everett. So I'll be curious to see. 28-13, I think it was the final score. So yeah, beat him by 2 scores. So yeah, I'll be curious to see if they continue that success. They got Sexton, then they followed up with Everett. So Waverly goes Sexton, then Everett. So
trying on the capital city.
Yep, see what happens there. All right, so do we want to move on here, guys, to this week's MHSAA football games, our picks?
Let's do it.
Brett, do you want to do the honors of sharing the screen and typing in the matchups like last week, or do you want me to do it?
I'd be honored.
All right, Bart, help us out here, big dog.
All right. So we had a little bit of collaboration with another MHSAA guru with Goose Poop. So Goose Poop is also going to be making – Vince, you got to allow me to share.
Because we're
Goose Poop is also going to be making picks with us against his playoff model. He didn't make picks last week. He's going to plan on retro picking those based on his data set from last week, which I believe he was at like 73 or 74. Sorry, my dog is going nuts in the background.
He did pick
73 or 74% correct with his playoff model, which is pretty impressive. Granted, it's the first game of the year and there's no data for those teams this year. So I was interested to see that. I would imagine that those picks will probably get more accurate by week. But nonetheless, so there's 4 of us picking. So top 5 games of the week. Starting out on the west side of the state versus east side of the state, we got Muskegon versus Warren De La Salle. Both of those teams coming off of big wins. I am actually going to go with the Pilots of Warren De La Salle for my pick.
I am also going to go with Warren De La Salle over Muskegon.
Vince?
Who did Muskegon just beat? Was that East Kentwood? Yeah, East Kentwood, 20-14.
Barely.
So you guys are both going Pilots. I feel like I got to be the odd. I got to get some.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to.
I just feel like I got to
lose the season the first week.
That's true. You're right.
I just want to see the blazing wing.
No, I think I should probably also go with De La Salle is just too dominant right now, man. I mean, there's no reason not to pick them. Muskegon is obviously very good, but yeah, I don't know. A lot of season left. Muskegon, the last 2 seasons has kind of been a little underwhelming, whereas De La Salle has just been dominating.
All right. It's unanimous for the Pilots. Next we got Hudson versus Constantine. Hudson are the D7 defending or D8 defending champs.
D8 defending champs.
So I'm going with Hudson.
Vince, you want to go? I don't know enough about. Actually, take that back. I am gonna go with Constantine. I think they were 10-1 last year, 8-3 the year before. They've been rolling years.
They're also 2 divisions bigger. They almost have twice as many students.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Constantine. I'm going to go with the bigger team. Has a solid program going right now.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to pick Constantine. Obviously, I don't know if you would call it an upset. They're a school that's 2 divisions bigger, but I mean, Hudson, I'm sure brought a lot back from their state title team, so I wouldn't be surprised if Hudson pulled it off. But yeah, I think I'll go with Constantine.
I watched Hudson play Portland, and I was not impressed. So.
Hudson played Portland?
Didn't they play them last year? No. Never
Hudson's
mind.
Division 8.
Yeah, disregard. Who'd Portland play in the semis?
They got beat by was it Marine City, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. Disregard. I'm an idiot.
Who then got pounded by Grand Rapids Catholic Central, I think.
Yeah. I'm an idiot.
All right. Corey's an idiot. No, he's not. Just a little mind slip. Anyways, we got a CAAC matchup with DeWitt versus Portland for our number 3 game in the state. As much as I'd like to see the Raiders win this game, I think DeWitt is going to win. They had a real close one against Hazlitt in the Big House, which I was surprised those 2 teams played each other in the Big House.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprising one to me too, because Hazlitt has a new coach who had a pretty good season last year, but I don't think Hazlitt's not supposed to be like some big powerhouse or anything this year.
No.
So I don't know.
Their running back was visiting Michigan State, I saw.
Okay. Do they? I was just say, don't most of those teams like get scheduled because they have D1 talent or something?
Some
like that?
profile recruits,
right?
Yeah, I do think that Hazlitt has some talent. So.
Oh, I mean, yeah, to be right there with DeWitt, they absolutely are good.
But DeWitt also is completely rebuilding. So I'm going to go with Portland.
I picked DeWitt. I don't know if anyone heard me. Corey's going to Portland. His brother's a Raider. Can't go.
Can't go against that.
Portland nipped them at home last year, surprisingly, because that DeWitt team was the last two DeWitt teams were unreal. I don't know if Portland comes into DeWitt and beats DeWitt in their home opener on their new turf field. DeWitt's opening on a brand new turf field that was installed this summer. I think they're going to be hyped to be at home. I think they're going to be pissed off. They got upset by Portland last year at Portland. I think they got something to prove after, I would say, a letdown at the Big House. I mean, that was their first time playing storied rival Hazlitt in a while, and they almost got beat. So I'm sure I'd be surprised to see them play bad back-to-back games. I think they beat Portland.
God, I want to switch my pick.
You what?
I want to switch my pick.
Does DeWitt have a capital W? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is. It's a capital W.
Yeah, give me DeWitt. I don't think Portland can beat him. I watched Portland play last week. There's no way they're beating them.
Corey, peer pressure, man.
I was shocked. I was shocked Portland beat them last year. I really was. It was a hell of a game by Portland.
So next up, we got the Lapeer Lightning versus the Traverse City Central Trojans. Lapeer beat who did they beat? Ann Arbor Huron 32-2 last week, and Traverse City Central
shellacking.
Traverse City Central. Well, Huron is historically not a very good football team.
They had one of their best seasons in years last year, though, and apparently they were returning a lot of talent. So, but yeah, you're right.
And TC Central, they beat St. Joseph's 49-28. I think I'm gonna go with Lapeer here. In my opinion, it's really hard. TC Central is a good team. I think one of the reasons that they were so good last year is one of their top players ended up at Notre Dame, Josh Burnham or something like that.
Yep.
But I think that it's in games like this, it's hard. Where is the game actually? The game is being played at home. It's in Traverse City. Okay, that kind of puts a spin on things.
That's a long drive for either team.
Long drive.
From Flint over to Traverse City.
Boy. I still think I'm going to pick Lapeer here.
I'm taking TC Central. I think TC at home's tough. I think they're still pretty stacked. That was a good St. Joe team that they beat last week.
St. Joe's was in the semis.
Yeah,
DeWitt beat him in the semifinals. I think I'm also going to go Traverse City Central. I don't think Lapeer plays in a very good league. The only really good team that Lapeer plays every year is Davison and Grand Blanc. And they got hammered by Grand Blanc last year, beat Davison in a close game when Davison had a down year last year. I mean, Ann Arbor Huron, like you said, Brett, isn't historically very good. Lapeer is going to be very good, but I think Traverse City Central just pulls it out, especially at home, like Corey said.
And then we got the nightcap, our top 5 games of the week.
This might be the toughest game to pick. I'm going to be honest.
Rockford versus Muskegon Mona Shores. Rockford took a smack to EGR last week. Muskegon Mona Shores beat a Manitowoc team out of Wisconsin.
Apparently, they're going to make it an annual game, the Battle for the Badger.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Because that's the name of the ferry you have to take over Lake Michigan.
The USS Badger.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Manitowoc is 0-2 now. So it's hard to get a gauge on the talent from that team. I think Rockford's about twice the size of Muskegon Mona Shores. They got twice the talent to pick from. So I think I'm going to go with the bigger school here. I'm going to go with the Rams from Rockford.
Well, and I will add this. In the district finals last year, Mona Shores got destroyed by Caledonia, and Rockford beat Caledonia last year. I mean, I know it's hard to play that game in high school football. You can't play the what's that math term?
Transitive property.
Transitive property doesn't work in sports, right? But I think I'm also going to go with Rockford. I think. Did you see where that one was being played at?
I think it's irrelevant. They're only like 30 minutes apart.
Right, it's a close drive.
Oh, they're pretty far apart from each other.
Mona Shores just got a brand new turf field though too. I would say if they're could be hyped to play that game at home.
So the last time they played was in 20.
That game is being played at Rockford.
Last time they played was in 2018, and Mona Shores beat Rockford.
No, they played in 2019, and Rockford won.
Did they?
Yep, 34-21 Rockford in 2019.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, I forgot they were an annual thing at one point.
Vince, you hear me? They're playing at Rockford, or Corey? They're playing at Rockford?
I heard you say it.
Yeah, then I'm going to take Rockford.
I didn't realize that Rockford Mona Shores played for about 6 years in a row.
Yeah, I haven't played the last
2014 to 2019. Yeah, I played 6 years in a row.
So there it is. It looks like the gap between Vince and Corey will not change this week. It's going to come down to
I didn't even realize that.
A pure game. So Brett's either going to jump behind or
games to pick.
We still do. Nonetheless, Goose Poop will be making his picks offline, posting these Thursday.
Brett has two different picks, so Brett could go up by 2 games potentially.
I could. So Vince, maybe we'll talk about college and come back and pick our games after you run through the picks there.
Sounds like a plan. If you say stop sharing there, I'm going to run through then. That's the high school segment of the podcast there. So looking forward, obviously, all year long, picking our 5 most high-profile games of the week and talking about them a little bit, and then recapping them the next week and kind of talking about high school football. So we're hoping to get on some high school football guests here and there, whether it's coaches or players, but just depends on who gets back to us. So we'll reach out and see if anyone wants to talk about their performances or their coaching performance, their coaching job, whether they won or not. All right. So real quick here, let's run through. These are the college football games going on across the state of Michigan this week. First, going to mention our 4 NAIA teams. 2 of our NAIA teams here in the state of Michigan played last week, this past Saturday. Very odd. I don't know why they played so early. I don't know why the schedules fell like that.
Got buys next week.
Right. No, they both play this week. Lawrence Tech and Madonna.
No, next week though.
Oh, the week after?
Yeah.
They were like week 0, like some of the D1.
Yeah, it's like the Big Ten. It's like
That's true.
Nebraska.
Right. So this last Saturday, the 27th, Madonna hosted Ave Maria out of Florida and got beat 53-0. And then Lawrence Tech hosted Taylor University, who is a MSFA opponent. They are a conference. That was a conference game. Actually, Taylor beat Lawrence Tech at Lawrence Tech 27-12. So then the NAIA games, our 4 teams, Siena Heights, Madonna, Concordia, and Lawrence Tech all play this coming Saturday, September 3rd. Some of those games you can live stream. Brett will be posting on Instagram and Twitter our viewing guide for all the teams for the state of Michigan, and we will mention where you can watch them at. Most of these lower division teams, if you go to their websites, a lot of them have broadcast or video streaming services that if you go to their website, you can watch them off of. So Siena Heights will be hosting Olivet Nazarene. Madonna is playing at number 5 nationally ranked Marion. That is a conference game, MSFA matchup. One of the weirder games that actually you're going to see on our top 5 games here pretty soon. Concordia, Michigan, Concordia Ann Arbor is ranked number 6 in the nation, and they are playing at Stetson University, which if you're like, wait a minute, where's that? That is an FCS school, Division I AA down in Florida. So that is going to be a tough game, even though Concordia is ranked number 6. That is a Division I AA school down in Florida. They're going to go play. So that one will be interesting. I might try to, if I have a chance, catch a live stream of that. That might be an interesting one to watch. And then our last game here, Siena Heights, Madonna, Concordia. Yep, Lawrence Tech turns just like Lawrence Tech, just like Ave Maria came up here and played at Madonna. Lawrence Tech is turning around and going down to Ave Maria. So Ave Maria is playing back-to-back MSFA schools here to start off the NAIA season. So those are our 4 NAIA schools all playing this coming Saturday. Next up, we got D3 football here in the state of Michigan, the MIAA. The MIAA, all of our Michigan schools in the league, Trine is the only non-Michigan school. All of the Michigan schools are playing Saturday. Albion hosts Carthage. Kalamazoo is hosting Oberlin. Alma is playing at Ohio Northern. Hope is hosting Aurora. Olivet is hosting Franklin, and Adrian is playing at Heidelberg. So a few good matchups there. One of those games we'll be talking about momentarily as one of our top games of the week. Lastly, D2. Before I think Brett's going to take us into Division I in just a second here. D2, going to mention our two GMAC schools, Great Midwest schools here really quick. Northwood will be hosting Kentucky Wesleyan. That is a conference matchup. And then Hillsdale is playing at Lake Erie College. That is also a conference matchup. So both Northwood and Hillsdale will be playing conference games to start their seasons on Saturday, September 3rd. Lastly, GLIAC schools, GLIAC action here. All of these games are played Thursday, except for two of them. There are 7 GLIAC schools. 5 of them play Thursday. 2 of them play Saturday. So here are the 5 that are playing Thursday, September 1st, all night games. Saginaw hosts West Virginia Wesleyan. Michigan Tech is going to be hosting Wisconsin Platteville. That is a Division III school out of the same conference as Whitewater. Michigan Tech has been doing that, I think, for a few years because it's pretty close for them to schedule that game. Grand Valley is hosting Colorado Mines. Northern Michigan is hosting McKendree, and then Ferris State is hosting Central Washington. And then so that was the Thursday games. Saturday, there are 2 games. Davenport plays at Truman, and Wayne State plays at Slippery Rock. A couple of those games we'll be talking about momentarily as well. Brett, do you want to take us into Division I here?
Yeah, thanks, Vince. Moving on to Division I, the bigger schools in the state. Kicking us off on Thursday evening, we have the Central Michigan Chippewas playing at Oklahoma State live on FS1, nationwide broadcast at 7 p.m. That's going to be an interesting one for the Chips. The Chips did actually beat Oklahoma State. I think it was back in 2016 down in Stillwater on a last-second play. We'll see if the Chippewas can have that sort of magic again. Next game, we got Eastern Michigan kicking off against Eastern Kentucky. This is a home game for Eastern Michigan. They're playing them on the concrete in the parking lot at 7 p.m. on ESPN3.
Bring your tennis shoes.
Yeah, bring your tennis shoes.
Hammer.
That's on Friday.
Go ahead.
And then simultaneously, Western Michigan is kicking off against Michigan State and East Lansing on Friday. Moving on to Saturday, the only game on Saturday for the Division I teams in the state is Michigan versus Colorado State in the Big House at noon on Saturday on ABC. Lions have an off week this week. We'll talk about them shortly. Corey talking about some of the cuts and the players making the cuts. But that does it for the college games of the week. Moving on, we have our top 5 college games of the week that we are going to be picking. I'm going to share my screen here and we can make our picks together. So our top game of the week is number 5 in D2 GVSU versus number 4 Colorado State of the Mines. This game is being played in Allendale at Lubbers Stadium. I'm going to pick GVSU to win this game. I'm going to take my fellow Lakers.
I think that it is tough to go into Allendale and play GV. Really good atmosphere, really good fans.
Especially to travel from Colorado.
Yeah, I feel like GVSU will use this also as a recruiting day, so there'll be a ton of recruits there. So I'm going to take GVSU as well.
Who did Grand Valley play first? That was Linwood. They played first round of the playoffs this last year. Who's moving to FCS? I'm going to go with Grand Valley as well. I think Grand Valley is probably going to have a little stink about them after getting beat by Ferris twice last year. So I'm sure they're going to be playing a little angry. And I'm sure it'll be a good game. That'll be also a fun one to try and catch. What time is that game at, Brett?
7.
So that'll be a good night game. Yeah, the night games there are always hype.
7 o'clock on Thursday.
Flow Sports, breaking in the Flow Sports. Maybe we all talk about this. Maybe we need to share an account. Use that Great Lakes State football money, tax write-off.
That's right. The next game in the state, we got Hope versus Aurora. This game is being played on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna take the Dutch here. I'm riding the Hope train all year.
I'm going to say they get upset by Aurora.
I don't know if it'd be considered an upset, though, because Aurora is actually receiving votes from D3Football.com. I think Aurora went 8-3 last year. Aurora made the playoffs.
8-3.
Game is being played in Holland.
At a sweet stadium.
They play a pretty tough schedule, too.
Aurora does, dude. They played some tough teams last year.
They lost to the number one team in the country, North Central College, 64-7 last year.
And they put up 70 points. Did you see though? But they put up 70 points on a few people. That's D3 football, man. It's so there's no parity. It's like all over the place.
It's just like bomb.
There's so much separation from the good to the great and the good to the bad. I mean, it's like there's no in between. So you're going with the upset, Corey, or well, you call it upset, Aurora.
Yeah, Aurora.
I think I'm also going to pick Aurora. I would love to pick Hope. I just think Aurora plays a much tougher schedule than Hope does. I'd love to see Hope pull it out. I hope they do. But Aurora, at least from last season, seems way more battle tested. They played Wheaton College, who was number 6 in the nation, North Central number 1, and St. John's, who was number 5. And actually, they almost beat St. John's. So I'm going to go with Aurora.
All right. Next up, we got Ferris State versus Central Washington.
Ferris State.
I said that. Ferris State for me.
Oh, yeah, Ferris State.
I was just being a smart ass. I was just saying Ferris State.
Ferris State unanimous. Is Central Washington where Cooper Kupp is from?
Yes.
I thought he was from Eastern Washington.
Washington.
I thought he was from Eastern, which is FCS, right?
Okay, so Ferris State.
Did anyone look up how was Central Washington in football last year? What was their team like? I haven't had a chance to even check.
Checking right now.
Central Washington was 8-3 last year with losses at Eastern Washington, 63-14. So they played an FCS school. They got beat by Angelo State in a close game, and then they lost at Northwest Missouri State in the playoffs, 21-50. In the playoffs. So they made the playoffs last year at 8-2. Looks like they won their conference. So
we're all taking the Bulldogs. So
will be a good. It looks like the Central Washington will be a good opponent. Central Washington beat a team 92-0 last year, and another team 70-0. Dude, look at these scores: 66-24, 70-0, 92-0, 53-21.
Are they playing Concordia?
The game is in Big Rapids at 7:30. So I was gonna say time change isn't going to be an issue.
Boy, that should be a good game. I'm still going to go with Ferris, man. I mean, it's that time tested saying, prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. Yeah,
right. Prove me wrong. I don't know.
So next up, we got the aforementioned NAI matchup versus with number 6 Concordia versus FCS Stetson. I think I'm probably going to go with Stetson here. There's just too much talent in a big school like that. I mean, Concordia is ranked number 6, but I don't know.
I'm also taking Stetson. Yeah. I think there's absolutely no way that Concordia beats them.
I would be shocked as well. I don't know.
Vince and I spoke before, and we related it to when Ferris State played North Dakota State.
Yeah.
It might even be a bigger divide than that.
It could be.
I don't know. Anyway.
And then finally, to wrap up top 5 picks of college professional, we got the Chippewas versus the Cowboys. As much as I'd love to see the Chippewas pull this off, I got to go with the Cowboys here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Brett. I think Oklahoma State's too much. They're ranked 12, too, by the way. I screwed that number up if you want to update that.
I'm going to go with the Chips. No, I'm just kidding. Oklahoma State. Just kidding. I would love – sorry, Cole. I don't know if Cole listens to these. I would love to pick Central Michigan, but that's tough to go down to Stillwater. They're returning a lot of talent from a very good team last year. Hopefully Lou Nichols has a game, man. We'll see what happens.
So that does it. That wraps up the college section this week. I will say another thing, even though it's not a top game of the week to watch out for, is with the Wolverines is Cade McNamara making the first start this week, and then JJ McCarthy making the start next week. Definitely going to be something to watch. Very interesting to see how Michigan's navigating that quarterback situation. But I
saw some random fan on Twitter today being like, and that's why Harbaugh doesn't know what he's talking about. And I was like, you are so stupid. They ended up getting ratio.
Every college coach knows what they're talking about over Twitter, idiots.
Exactly.
You gotta love Twitter. Yeah. Just a cesspool of nothing.
All right, Corey, I think that wraps up with college. If you want to move us on to the lie downs.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Brett. So the Lions bless us with another very entertaining Sunday, this time in preseason fashion, losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers 19-9, which pretty much secured Mitch Trubisky being the starting quarterback, which is very, very sad. Just some quick notes of the preseason game. The offense sucked as usual when we're running our backups. David Blow sucked a little bit less
David
than
Blow.
Tim Blow, same thing. He blew too.
I just sound like they said Blow.
He sucked a little bit less
Also
than Tim
got
Boyle.
cut.
Yeah, so I was just about to say Tim Boyle just got cut. If only David Blau could run like his wife, like the wind, because he can.
She is super fast.
Yeah, she's very fast. Craig Reynolds secured running back number 3 on the roster, which is
D2 football, baby.
Yep. Cootstown guy. His dad's in prison. For those of you who have been watching, was his brother?
Older
Yeah,
brother.
Well,
He's like 10. His brother's like 10 years older than him.
Oh, maybe that's why it looked like his dad.
BC
Yeah.
running back.
Because they showed a picture of him in Hard Knocks. He's like 10 years old and his brother's like 20.
I was doing the dishes while I was watching. So, anywho, Craig Reynolds secured running back number 3, and then wide receiver spots that were up for grabs are officially full, which we will go over the cuts that happened. And personally, I mean, I'll branch this around you guys so we can have some discussion about it. I think the defense is going to be good.
Oh, absolutely,
it's gonna
dude.
take some time,
You don't
but I
think so,
they're
bro?
going to be good.
You don't think the D is good?
No.
You don't like Rodrigo?
No, there's just a lot of hype. It's so hard to say defense is going to be good in the preseason because you don't know what starters they're playing and what backups they're playing against. It's just the measuring stick isn't really there.
No,
I mean, I will say
we have depth for the first time in a long time.
We have depth and there's a lot of movement towards the ball the whole entire play, but it's so hard. I mean, when you're playing like Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins or any of those other guys in the NFC North, I mean, it's different. It's a lot different than playing against Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky, and Kenny Pickett.
But I would say we probably will see the best pass rush we've ever seen in Detroit this year.
Ever?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
not. I mean, in our lifetime. I mean, Charles Harris, and Hutch, and then you've got the Okwara brothers coming back. Austin Bryant's been playing really well now that he's finally back from injury, and then you got Pasquale and some other guys that are on the IR right now. I just think the defense is going to be good. I think our pass rush is going to be good. I like our linebacking core deep. Our cornerback core is really deep. With some guys coming back. But anyway, I will run through some of the cuts.
I got to call you out, man. I don't know. 2012 was a hell of a team on defense. We had Stephen Tulloch, DeAndre Levy, Cliff Averill, Kyle Vandenbosch. You remember that freak? And
Vandenbosch was at the end of his career in 2012.
Yeah, he was still a freak.
Years old.
He still had how many sacks he had? I'm looking at the stats right now. He still had 3.5 sacks. I mean, it's not bad.
You don't think anybody can have more than 3.5 sacks?
No, I mean, they still had Sue at 8. Lefebvre
I could have 3.5 sacks in the NFL this year.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I hope so. I hope you're right. And when you are right, you can prove me wrong, but I am cautiously optimistic.
We could watch Vince eat Blazing Wings together, if I'm right. But just some notable cuts. So AJ Parker, cornerback, secondary guy, got cut. He played in 13 games last year. Jerry Jacobs was moved to the PUP list. Jerry Jacobs is adding to that cornerback depth once he comes back. CJ Moore saw significant time last year. He's going to be planned to get waived. Just running down the list, Justin Jackson, who we had recently brought in, ex-running back from Northwestern, who thought he was going to make the roster, at least as a special teams guy. He was cut. Obina Easy, the guy from, I believe he's from Nigeria. He's highlighted in the Hard Knocks episodes. He was cut. I'm sure his wife is going to be furious.
He's a guy that was like a top 150 recruit that was from Memphis.
He was from he came to the United States to play basketball, and then they just told him to try out football like his junior year of high school, and
went to Memphis, and then
they transferred to TCU, I think, for his last year, grad transfer or something. So he did get cut, you said?
Yeah, Obina got cut. Who else? Godwin Igwebuike, who was a safety that transitioned to running back. He got cut. We saw him play a little bit last year.
Devin Funchess, Khalil Pimpleton, you say those guys?
Yep, I haven't gotten there yet. Trinity Benson got cut. Trinity Benson's a bad cut, and it's a bad look for Dan Campbell and the GM, Brad Holmes, because we traded for Trinity Benson last fall, like first couple weeks of camp. We traded picks away for Trinity Benson, and we just cut him. So that one looks pretty shitty on them. Khalil Pimpleton cut. Funchess cut. Unfortunately, Jared Davis cut, who may just have seen his NFL career be done. Because I don't know. I mean,
that's got to be such a hard job, like, to figure out. But how many of those guys do you think end up getting? How many guys can they keep on the practice squad? Like, is it 10 to 12 or something like that?
I think it's like 20.
Oh, they do get that many guys?
They just upped it. But, like, I don't think a Funchess or a Jared Davis is going to stay on a practice squad.
Right. How many of those guys that just got cut do you think they'll, if they don't get picked up by another team, that they might?
16 players on the practice squad.
16. Oh, that's quite a few. I feel like that's more than.
But you would keep a Pimpleton on there. You might keep it easy on there. Do you guys, young rookies on the practice squad?
Right. Do you guys know with those practice squad guys? Do they dress? Do they go to the games and just don't dress? Right.
Correct.
Like they're staying in street clothes on the sideline to the practice squad guys.
And they just got their pay increase too. Teams can have more practice players, and their pay just got bumped, I think, last year.
Nice. And then those are the guys that, like, they can bump up for injuries typically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
their minimum weekly salaries is insane.
What is it?
They make $11,500 a week. Multiply that by 17 and you're like almost $200K just to be in the practice squad.
Yeah,
18 if you do the bye week.
I was gonna say minimums, I think $250. I think they make $250 a year.
Hey man, that's good money.
Still pretty crazy.
It's
only part of the year. You can still have another job at some point.
Yeah. But anyway, continuing, Tom Kennedy got cut. His heroics were seen in week 2 against the Colts. And then just some people on the injured list that we'll see come back is Jason Kabinda, fullback. He'll be back at some point this year. Jameson Williams, we'll probably see him. They said week 4, week 5. Romeo Okwara, who we re-signed and then he got hurt and he's been out. Josh Pasquale, who we just drafted, and then Jerry Jacobs, who was kind of a fill-in corner last year, who ended up doing a really good job for us at the end of the year and then got hurt. So cuts are always tough. It's just funny to see some of these names on here, like Devin Funchess. His career is probably at the end. And
he was part of that fun joke, Funchess Bunches of Oats or whatever on Hard Knocks.
And I think it truly hurt his career because he sat out during COVID. He sat out a complete year.
He also got hurt. He tore up his knee last year, I think it was.
Last year, but the year before that, he just sat out willingly for COVID. So that's all I got for the Lions. We start in 2 weeks, and the Kool-Aid is nice and sugary, and I am drinking that shit. So
we've been enjoying Hard Knocks. I don't know about our listeners or viewers, but Hard Knocks.
Another one going on right now.
Yeah, it's too late for me to watch it tonight. I might try to catch it tomorrow. I'll be going to bed as soon as we're done recording. But yeah, I've been enjoying Hard Knocks. It's the first time I've ever watched Hard Knocks. I've never made time to watch it. It's not really been interesting to me because if it's a team I don't really care about, I don't know. I don't really never been interested in checking it out. Corey's got the One Pride shirt on, baby. All right.
Shitty state of Illinois.
Anything else we want to add here for football before we get into Corey's fact and recommendation of the week?
What you got, Corey?
What you got, big dog?
So here is my fun fact. So, and this is a little quiz for you guys. How many times has Oklahoma State and Central Michigan played?
Including this year or before this year?
Before this year. Oh, no, 6. Including this year.
Including this year.
Oh, so I think it's 7.
Vince?
5?
This will be their third meeting, with the
Oh.
last one being that Hail Mary win 30-27. So for those of you who
When
do
was
not
the Hail
know,
Mary win?
that was in 2016. So
Central won on a Hail Mary?
the clock struck 0, and they gave Central
I
Michigan
do remember
one more
this.
chance.
I remember this. It was super
and-
controversial.
Yep. And it was the Chippewas' first win over a ranked team since it knocked off number 18 Michigan State 20-3 in 1991 at Spartan Stadium.
I thought Central beat Michigan? Oh, Michigan State. Michigan
Yeah,
State wasn't
ranked.
when they beat Michigan
Yeah.
State. They weren't ranked on that when they blocked blocked
Correct.
the field goal or whatever it was. Yeah, it was D'Antonio was like first or second year. Yep. What's your recommendation, Poppy?
My recommendation of the week, I'm going to stick with the brewery theme, is Perrin Brewing in Comstock Park, Michigan. Great brewery, great beers. You're going to have to look up where it's at because it is not anywhere where you think it would be at. It's kind of like, it's really like in like a residential neighborhood. And then, it's like it's not in a neighborhood, but it's off a road that has neighborhoods off of it. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere. But Perrin Brewing, great beers, good atmosphere, friendly staff, really good food. So Perrin Brewing, Comstock Park, Michigan. Be there, be square.
Did you get food there too?
Oh yeah, we try to think every appetizer.
Did you order the whole left side of the menu?
Yeah, their food is
Can I get to the left side?
I was in the car with Brett Johnson one time going to Taco Bell very late at night. It might have been high school or early college. I
That
don't
was
remember.
definitely college.
And Brett very smittenly turns to me and starts giggling before he even gets to the pull-up microphone thing and goes, "Hey Vince, watch this." And they go, "Yes, can I take your order?" And he looks at me and smiles again and goes, "Yes, I'll have the whole left side of the menu, please." And the woman goes, "What?" He goes, "I'm just kidding. I laughed pretty hard. It was pretty funny.
Classic.
It was classic. Anyway, thank you for listening to episode 27 of Great Lakes State Football. We will be back next week talking about the high school and college football games from this coming weekend. A lot of games on Thursday too. With the Labor Day weekend, you got a lot of Thursday night games, so will be an interesting stretched out weekend of football here. If you enjoy our podcast, please check us out on Twitter. Give us a follow over there. We post quite a bit of state of Michigan football related stuff at GLSF Ball. BALL is how we spell ball. Instagram, Great Lakes State Football. Follow us there. If you like the video versions of this podcast, give us a subscribe on YouTube, Great Lakes State Football. Please like, comment, and share those videos. And then Apple and Spotify. If you like the audio versions, download us, add us to your library, and give us some 5-star reviews and comments on Apple and Spotify as well. I'm Vince, co-hosts Brett and Corey, Great Lakes State Football, episode 27, everything football in the state of Michigan. Go green and go Chargers.
Go blue, baby.
Go Dutch.